Hello, you're watching TVP World News. I'm Jonasz Rewiński. Officials in the southeastern Ukrainian city of Kamianske say several people are injured after a Russian drone attack, which took place overnight. Ukraine's Air Force is reporting that a combined 135 Russian drones and missiles were launched at the country in this latest strike. 8 people were injured in a Russian drone attack in Kamianske, a city in Ukraine's southeastern Dnipropetrovsk region. According to the local emergency service, the roof and one of the entrances to a 4-story residential building that was struck in the attack were partially destroyed. 5 people were pulled from the rubble of the building, rescuers said, without providing information on their condition. Vehicles, a transport company and infrastructure facilities were also damaged in the attack, the emergency service said, adding that a rescue operation was now underway. Meanwhile, according to the latest reports, Ukraine launched a successful strike on a major Russian oil refining facility. The Volgograd oil refinery, located 450 kilometers from the Ukrainian front line, reportedly sustained damage as Kyiv continues its campaign to bring down Moscow's sources of revenue, which are used to finance the ongoing war.
The attack on the oil refinery was part of a larger drone assault on the region. According to the region's governor, a residential building and several homes were damaged in the attacks, which killed 1 person. Posting to Telegram, the governor also confirmed that a fire broke out in an industrial zone of Volgograd's region Krasnoarmeyski district. This is not the first time the Lukoil-operated refinery has come under attack. It was previously forced to halt operation on at least 1 occasion.
NATO Secretary-General Mark Rutte has met with President Nikos Orban in Bucharest to discuss regional security. The president said Romania is well protected and committed to its NATO obligations. Rutte stressed that NATO is always ready to defend, adding that if Romania were attacked, 31 allied nations would come to its aid.
If an attack would take place from whoever, be it the Russians or whoever would attack NATO or would attack Romania particularly, it is not only Eastern Sentry which will help you. It is not only the forward land forces which will help you. It is then the whole of NATO which will come to the rescue with its fleet of F-35s, its full naval capacity and its full land forces capacity. This is how NATO works.
Poland's Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski weighed in on the financial aid being provided to Ukraine during his exclusive interview with TVP World. He said that while he has hope for continued US military intelligence support, Europe is now the most prominent source of financing for Kyiv, which should be reflected in the EU's position in upcoming peace talks.
I hope the US will continue to supply Ukraine with intelligence data. Of course, Poland pays for the Starlink terminals. And the ammunition for US weapons to do with anti-aircraft and deep strikes capabilities are also important. Europe mostly pays for that. And that's why I think Europe should be more prominent in negotiating a future settlement.
Latvia's defense forces are expected to deploy state-of-the-art AI solutions to aid the protection of the country's eastern border. The latest plans, as announced by Latvian officials, call for the implementation of the new technology in as little as 3 months.
Origin Robotics is one of the interceptor system what we choose for the national program, and I would say in 2-3 months already Latvian soldiers will use the system to protect the Latvian eastern border.
So the interceptor drone uses radar data to find targets in air. It catches up to those targets. At that point, the operator is asked to confirm interception, and from that point on, autonomously the system catches up to the target and detonates a warhead in close proximity to it or strikes it kinetically. Well, the key feature of it is that it's autonomous and it's substantially cheaper than the targets that it goes after. So unit economics-wise, it makes a ton more sense than shooting a precision-guided missile towards unmanned systems, drones.
And this is the only turnkey solution currently available in the Europe where we have done long distance drone detection, low altitude flying drones. We can track them, we can visually verify that they are drones or birds or airplanes. And then with different interceptor drones, we can intercept the hostile drones and take them down as a one turnkey solution which is fully integrated and absolutely automated.
Swedish lawmakers have taken a major step towards developing the country's energy independence. On Monday, they voted to lift the moratorium on uranium mining, paving the way to greater supply diversity as the country continues to invest in nuclear power. Uranium mining in Sweden will resume on the 1st of January 2026 as the government in Stockholm plans to build more nuclear reactors. So far, Sweden has used uranium imported from the United States, Kazakhstan and Russia in its nuclear power plants. Swedish municipalities will have limited opportunities to object to the issuance of environmental permits for these mines. According to District Metals, Sweden has about 27% of Europe's uranium deposits. The company is already conducting research and plans to open a uranium mine in the country in the near future. Estonian law enforcement has apprehended well-known blogger Oleg Besedin, accusing him of spreading Russian disinformation and propaganda. According to the Estonian authorities, there is also strong evidence that the suspect acted in contravention of international sanctions by promoting Russian media outlets banned in the European Union. Oleg Besedin has been detained for 2 months following a court order. He is suspected of 2 crimes: violating international sanctions and conducting anti-state activities. Reports say Besedin's YouTube channel with hundreds of thousands of followers is full of Russian disinformation. That channel, along with his Facebook page, have now been suspended. The court, which ordered Oleg Besedin's detention, agreed with the prosecutor's argument that there is a strong risk Besedin could continue conducting similar activities should he be released, as he still has the relevant connections to do so. The court also noted that there is a risk Besedin could flee to Russia. Hollywood superstar and human rights activist Angelina Jolie paid an unexpected visit to Ukraine's war-torn city of Kherson. Traveling in her role as a UN Special Envoy, the actress visited Ukraine for the second time since the war began, but this time her arrival was accompanied by an unexpected incident. Angelina Jolie's arrival to the Ukrainian city of Kherson is said to have come as a surprise to the local authorities. In addition, the superstar's visit was reportedly accompanied by a controversy involving a member of her entourage, who apparently was unexpectedly drafted into the Ukrainian military. Politico, citing a top Ukrainian official, said that a member of Jolie's traveling party had an incident with local military recruiters at a checkpoint, but that the Ukrainian authorities are still trying to figure out what has exactly happened. The official also told the media outlet that Jolie had not informed the Ukrainian government about her intention to visit and that she entered the territory on foot. US President Donald Trump has reiterated his warning to the Nigerian government, telling the nation's authorities that the violence against Christians will no longer be tolerated. He suggested that the United States may resort to military means if the issue is not properly addressed and the Islamist terrorist groups are not stopped.
If the Nigerian government continues to allow the killing of Christians, the USA will immediately stop all aid and assistance to Nigeria. We're going to do things to Nigeria that Nigeria is not going to be happy about and may very well go into that now disgraced country, guns a-blazing, to completely wipe out the Islamic terrorists who are committing these horrible, horrible atrocities. I'm hereby instructing our Department of War to prepare for possible action. If we attack, it will be fast, vicious, and sweet, just like the terrorist thugs attack our cherished Christians.
6 months after Poland's Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski laid out his government's priorities, it's time to take a look at how the country's approach to foreign policy was influenced by the dynamically changing political landscape. Our reporter Kazimierz Łysiak takes a look at the goals outlined in April, as well as how much has been achieved.
The war in Ukraine is about to enter its 4th year. The Russian invasion is affecting all of Europe, but especially Ukraine's biggest NATO neighbor, Poland. Speaking exclusively to TVP World, Polish Foreign Minister Radosław Sikorski put it bluntly.
What keeps you awake at night?
Well, we have a war at our borders.
Whether Poland likes it or not, the Russian invasion happening just beyond its borders is the single biggest factor shaping Warsaw's foreign policy. This was reflected in the speech given by Foreign Minister Sikorski in Parliament in April this year.
The war in Ukraine is the cause of the growing uncertainty, but also the result of changes that have been taking place for a long time.
During the speech, Minister Sikorski laid out 4 main priorities for Poland's foreign policy. These include strengthening the country's defense and maintaining transatlantic unity, especially with the United States. And apart from keeping Russia at bay by supporting Ukraine, it is navigating the relationship with the United States, which is Poland's second biggest challenge.
Winston Churchill memorably said, "The United States always does the right thing, having tried all the other options."
And the US, specifically President Donald Trump, has tried various options when it comes to the war in Ukraine, by first scolding President Zelensky.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
Then making up over a minerals deal, shocking the world by inviting Russia's Vladimir Putin to Alaska, and then finally sanctioning Russian energy when all else failed. But peace is still nowhere to be seen. Instead, President Trump has pulled some 800 soldiers out of Romania, sparking concerns over US involvement in Europe's security. Poland, on the other hand, is so far safe in that regard.
Yeah, we're very happy. If anything, we'll put more there if they want.
And that's the result of rare cooperation on foreign policy between the Polish centrist government and the conservative president Karol Nawrocki. Keeping the US close is one of Poland's top priorities. But Minister Sikorski knows not to put all his eggs in one basket, especially with the US president changing his mind on crucial policies so frequently. And that's especially visible when you look at the Polish minister's trips abroad. His most visited place in this term has been Brussels, where he traveled for more than a dozen EU and NATO summits, convincing other European allies to spend more on defense. And as Poland was forced to shoot down Russian drones flying over its airspace in September, and with Donald Trump reacting like this,
What's with Russia violating Poland's airspace with drones? Here we go.
The government in Warsaw is standing its ground.
If another missile or aircraft enters our space without permission, deliberately or by mistake, and gets shot down and the wreckage falls on NATO territory, please don't come here to whine about it. You have been warned.
While looking for closer ties with other allies like the Nordic countries. A delicate game of balance in a time of little stability. For TVP World, I'm Kazimierz Łysiak.
And that's all for now. Thank you for watching, and please stay with us here on TVP World.